Lyft recently announced its Jobs Access program in 35 different markets throughout the U.S. and Canada. This is giving free rides to people to job interviews and during their first weeks of employment. Let's talk about it. Welcome everyone, Mark here from UberHints. Today finds me in Plano, Texas, just outside Dallas. I spent the afternoon down at Dealey Plaza, which was quite interesting. Dealey Plaza, for those of you who are not up to speed, is where President Kennedy was shot and killed. And it's quite an interesting place to visit, but today was particularly interesting because there was a film crew there. They were doing, I don't know, some kind of a reenactment. They had people in period costumes, and they were running and screaming. They would go bang, bang, and people were responding and running away. So I don't know if it was for a documentary, for some kind of a retrospective, but it was interesting nevertheless. All right, let's take a look at what's going on with this Lyft Jobs program. What they have announced is they are going to give free rides to people to job interviews, and the first 2 weeks of work, they'll give them free rides. Well, how will this work? It says here, everyone needs access to reliable, affordable transportation to get to work, visit a doctor, make it to school, or simply participate in life. Unfortunately, they're not giving free rides to the doctor or to participate in life, but rather to work. It says Lyft is committed to expanding transportation access to those who need it most. And in May, they announced a $50 million annual commitment to improve the city through transportation infrastructure, so on and so on. But this particular Jobs Access program says they're going to give rides to and from job training programs. So I'm assuming that means places that do training, things like people that work at Goodwill, preparation for job entry. I don't know if that would include trade schools. I don't know. It just says job training programs. Rides to and from job interviews, and rides to and from the first 3 weeks of employment until individuals receive their first paycheck and can begin to pay for transportation on their own. Now, it says it is offering this to people who can benefit most, ranging from veterans to individuals with disabilities. And then it goes on to say that this is going to be available through their partner program, the NDSS, which is the National Down Syndrome Society. That's one of them. The United Way USO Goodwill National Down Syndrome Society, Year Up Generation, Number Cut 50, I don't know what that is, Campaign for Fair Sentencing of Youth, and Upwardly Global. Those are the organizations. So, from the way I understand it, you cannot simply say, hey, Lyft, I'm going on a job interview, could you come and pick me up and give me a free ride? You have to in some way be affiliated with these organizations. And then it goes on to quote someone from United Way. United Way believes that people of all ages and abilities should have an opportunity to improve their economic status through employment. When we work with corporate partners like Lyft in pursuit of this goal, the entire community benefits, and together we can effect sweeping change that benefits us all, which really is going against what Lyft said. They say all ages and abilities. Lyft was going more towards people who are in need. I don't know. You can read your own into this. You know, whenever they release these press releases, they always put their own little twists on it. So I guess if you want to find out more about the Jobs Access program, I'm reading everything right off of the Lyft blog. You're going to have to go through one of these agencies that support it and our partners in their program. So that's it. Kind of interesting, I guess, that they're going to offer free jobs, or free rides rather. But, you know, in my head, I'm the suspicious type, and I'm always wondering, okay, what exactly is this going to mean to drivers? How many people are actually going to be able to access this? How much is really going to be available? How many rides are they going to offer? They don't talk about any of that. They talk about a $50 million annual commitment to improve our cities through transportation infrastructure. It goes on to say donate to transportation and sustainability initiatives. That seems like a big chunk of money, but when you consider spreading it out over 35 cities and markets, that's a little over $1 million per market, going towards 3 different things: infrastructure, transportation, sustainability initiatives. Before long, that money is going to get watered down pretty much. I don't know how many rides that means, how they choose to dole it out. They don't talk about any of that. But we will see. I don't even know if, as drivers, a driver will know whether or not the person taking the ride is part of this program. And nor do I think it's important, as long as, you know, the driver gets paid. What it does mean is I'll bet the driver's not getting tipped. Now, I love that Lyft wants to do something in order, because let's face it, when people are working, that helps everybody. That means people are getting, they're paying taxes, and they're employed, and they're not, you know, out on the streets trying to scrape up a living. They're not having to rely on public assistance. Having work is a good thing, and helping people get work is a good thing. Now, I know what's going to happen with drivers. What that means is they're not going to get tipped from these rides. What I think Lyft should do is build in a tip every time someone's doing one of these rides, because otherwise what it's sort of forcing the driver to do is sort of kind of donate as well without their permission, right? What I think Lyft should do, and correct me if I'm wrong, if you disagree, but I think they should, you know, say, okay, this is a subsidized ride through our jobs program, and so that includes a $2 tip. I think something like a $2 tip would be really nice to put on top, and then say to the driver, if you choose to put that $2 back in the jobs and careers program, you know, click here and you can do that. I think that way the driver is getting a tip from people that would not otherwise tip, because let's face it, they can't afford to. But if Lyft is trying to support this, that means they're trying to support it on the work of drivers, right? And a lot of drivers' money now, since they've restructured the way they pay, is going to come through tips. So I think this would be a nice way to do it. Say, hey drivers, we haven't forgotten about you with this program. We're also going to include tips in the rides. However, they will give us an opportunity to participate and to be charitable as well, by saying we can bypass on the tip, or take, maybe rather than $2, I'll take $1 of that tip and donate the rest back. I think that would be a nice way to do it. What do you think? Am I looking too deep into this, or do you think that we're onto something here? Because, you know, if that is a significant number of rides, and let's face it, if someone goes to the job interviews first and then they're going to work for 3 weeks, that means for the average full-time worker, you're getting 10 trips, 1 to work and 1 back home, times 3 weeks. So that's 30 trips. That could be 30 trips that a driver is getting with no chance of getting a gratuity. Is that really fair to the driver? I mean, I'm not saying a driver cannot be charitable as well, but as a result of Lyft's decision to be charitable, the driver is passing up a ride that may tip them in order to partake in this charitable movement. What are your thoughts? I'm all for charity. I'm all for drivers being charitable, but I think it should be a choice, not a forced issue. Now, I know you're going to say, how come you're making something bad out of this? I'm not, because let's face it, every rider would have the opportunity to say, no, I get where this is coming from, this is a great program, and I will forego my tip in this instance. But I would love to hear what you have to say on this one. So, as always, I encourage you to leave your comments down below. Don't forget to like and share the video. If you haven't already, please subscribe by clicking my face down there in the corner, and ring that bell icon up above. That way, you'll be notified when I post new videos. From Plano, Texas, I'm Mark with UberHints.